Hello, hello, Ron. Ron, how are you? Can you hear me, Ron?
Yeah, I had to unmute myself. I'm here. What's going on? Yeah, I
No,
had to unmute myself.
no problem. It's happening.
Yeah,
Crazy weather, very crazy weather. We've had
yeah.
a
Hey
Good
everyone.
afternoon, team.
hey y'all. We had another tornado warning.
Mhm.
How y'all doing?
Good. Yeah, we just had a big earthquake here. So,
Really?
Yeah.
What city?
it was in Pasadena. They said, yeah, well, it's a couple of. It was in Pasadena, but also
In
Bakersfield.
Bakersfield too.
Yeah,
Because Noemi was telling me about the Bakersfield one.
yeah,
I was checking on you. Yeah.
yeah. No, I felt it. It was loud. It was like a bomb exploded.
Oh God. I can't
Mhm.
even stand the thunderstorms, so I can only imagine.
Yeah, yeah. It was loud.
How far away is that from you, Ron?
What, Bakersfield?
No, Pasadena.
Oh, I'm right there. I'm right in. I'm like,
Where is it, Ron?
go one street over and you're in Altadena, which is where I live, but my office is in Pasadena.
Okay.
Yeah. So, they've alert everybody in the building
Uh-huh.
to check and see if there's any cracks or anything broke and stuff like that. Cause the building shook for
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mercy, mercy, mercy.
Mm.
I hope everybody's gonna be okay. I heard.
Do you have gas where you live, where your building is?
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, they got people checking it out to see if there's any gas leaks, but there's none so far. So looks like we are okay.
Okay.
hmm But these earthquakes been coming pretty often now. This is probably the third one I've felt within the last month.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Because I didn't hear about the Bakersfield when I heard about the one that you just described, which made me text you. Because
yeah.
we've been having problems with this Dolly. She's been getting on my not Don, what's her name? Donna, whatever this child's name is, this storm we're dealing with.
Oh, is it no? It's Debbie.
Debbie, yeah, Debbie,
Yeah.
getting on my nerves.
Yeah.
We're having more flooding. It's just the flooding, and
Yeah.
we have a lot of trees and it's uprooting trees and stuff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
We have the same flooding here. It's coming this way. The first one is still affecting a lot of flood, but we have power issues because, unfortunately, in Texas, all our lines are underwater, underground, and so they dug stuff up. So
Oh, wow. Yeah. Right. That's right. You guys' lines are on the ground.
yeah,
And we getting ready to put a lot of our lines on the ground. I don't know.
We're
That
talking
means
about doing that too here. We thought
yeah.
it would be better, but I don't know. I don't know. We don't know what to do.
Mm.
I'm telling you. Anyway, guys, we got we're here. Let's do our agenda is just as you said, we sent out this recap. Sorry, I've had surgery, and so I feel kind of weird. Uh, uh, it's all good. Recap Chicago, the good news, feedback, celebrations, and our social media pages and postings. It's the things that were submitted to me. So if you guys want to get started, let's do the recap. Did everybody enjoy themselves?
Yeah, I thought it was good. I thought I really outside of NABJ, I really enjoyed the tour, the Black History Tour for Chicago. Evidently, I was able to go to the best one. It was the last one of the day. And
Oh, good.
it was so awesome. We got to go to the ice cream place what's the name of that ice cream place, Rashonda? It's
Was
a
it, which one did they take y'all to? Was it Rainbow Cone?
no, no, no. This one was all bougie gourmet kind of food.
Oh,
Cream. Honey, that ice cream was so good. I'm still dreaming about it. Do you know my stomach didn't get sick not once, and I ate that ice cream. I had no problems. And they had cakes, they had baked goods, that they had this ice cream that had been on the Food Network and everything. And the tour was excellent. We Ida B. Wells Park and all we were all on the south side, Rashonda.
yeah, yeah. That was one of the, I mean, we things we that made sense for us, but I know there were some people that were concerned because we weren't able to add West Side stops in there. It's just like, hey, you cannot do both sides of the city like that. Lollapalooza weekend in an hour. That's not happening. So
It was wonderful. And I really I hadn't been to Chicago in a long time. And I was just so impressed with how clean the city is. You know, as big
yeah,
as
we
it
heard
is.
that a lot. A lot of people said that. Yeah, yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it looked like a southern city. That's what it reminded me of, to be honest.
Well,
Um,
Oh,
it's part of the Great Migration. A lot of people in Chicago are from
yes, yes, and
for
he
sure.
that whole historical thing about that. We saw that the Great Migration
Yeah.
statue, and I took all those pictures and stuff, and it was wonderful.
Shelby Miller is amazing. He's like literally the best person you could do a tour with in Chicago for Black culture. He and his whole team, they're all super savvy.
Hmm.
Uh, and just, great to hear them tell the little mini stories that they share.
Yeah, yeah, yep. So I'm very I was very happy with that. And I enjoyed myself overall, even with our little drama and all of that. I wish I got a little exhausted, so I didn't go to the Salute to Excellence awards thing. But I think I needed to sleep more. But I enjoyed everything I did. I enjoyed seeing everybody as usual.
Thanks for sharing. What about you, Tony, Ron, and Rashawn?
Oh, it was great. It was, NABJ is always great because you get to see your colleagues, you get to see people who you normally don't see, you probably talk to over the phone or by text or email. So it's always good once a year to actually lay eyes on people who are near and dear to you and who are a part of your life, part of your tribe. And the workshops as a whole, all the ones I went to were really great. I enjoyed them. And the camaraderie was really, really good. I'm glad that Donald Trump didn't really mess up our convention. Since he came on the first day that we had any sessions, we figured that maybe, after that debacle, that maybe it would have disrupted the convention, but it didn't. The convention went on and went on with a bang, and that was really a testament to the people who actually attend NABJ, that they didn't allow his madness to linger in our midst. I had a great time, just hanging out with my friends who I normally hang out with, and we had fun. I went to several events, and I can say that this year, I think that the receptions were really nice. At least the ones that I went to, were really great. Overall, it was a wonderful experience to me. The only thing, and I don't know what's really going on, I think it has something to do with global warming. Getting back home from NABJ is becoming a challenge for me. It always looks like I have to spend an extra day in the airport, 7, 8 hours in the airport waiting
Mm,
to get back home. In Birmingham, I actually spent 2 days
mm,
before I finally got home. I was supposed to get home on Sunday. I never got home until Tuesday.
mm,
Uh, and this time I was supposed to get home at 7 o'clock at night. I didn't get home until 1 o'clock in the morning. So I don't know. I think it has something to do with global warming because they were complaining that the planes were not on time because of Hurricane Debbie and all that good stuff. So I don't know. Hopefully next year, it'll be a little different. But hey, I was able to be to relax in the airport and not have to be rushing and stuff like that. So but all in all, I think that was the only thing that I think that for me there was a glitch. I didn't lose my baggage like I did last year, none of that. So it's all good, and I'm glad to be back on. I know I'm still a little tired from NABJ, but I think this past week is kind of like really I'm getting back to being on LA's time. I had a great time hanging out with Tony. We had a really great time doing a lot of things together. I really enjoyed that. Was some really cool bonding that took place, and that's what NABJ is for, right? Solidifying
Right.
relationships, and I'm glad that I was able to do that, and hopefully, for the 50th anniversary, things will be much, much, much more better than it was this time because it keeps getting better.
Right.
All right, Tony.
I fairly much echo everything that Ron said. It was really good seeing Ron. Known Ron for a number of years now. It was actually the first time we actually sat down and talked for more than 3 minutes. So it was nice to be able to sit down and, as Ron says, to break bread, and we had lunch a couple times, so that was good. It was also nice to meet some of the other members of the task force that I didn't meet before, like Lene Lewis, who is very tall. I didn't realize how tall she is, but she's very tall. And just seeing some, and just kind of meeting up with other people. You guys saw me, my friend Tommy. We go all the way back to 2005 when I worked in Baton Rouge. So it's always good seeing him there. I know I talked to Ron. I was, pretty open about some of the things that were of concern to me. I know I won't rehash those here, but overall, it was just very interesting with the aftermath of Trump and Lollapalooza, with all of the armed police in the lobby of the hotel. So I know some people had talked to me saying that they were concerned about it. They didn't understand why it was, why it was like that.
Enough for you. Wait a moment.
Yeah, but me, someone who works at the Pentagon, I see that every day. So I'm sort of used to seeing guys with long guns and at the entrances. But other than that, I mean, I would say it was a good, overall a good convention. I wouldn't say it was the best for me, mainly because the lack of diverse programming for our group. But other than that, I thought it was very good. I think the receptions were really well handled, well done. Especially when you consider the size and the number of people there. So I thought overall it was pretty good. I liked Chicago. I always liked Chicago because when I left Sunday morning and I took the train instead of taking a ride share back to the airport, there were several people who I didn't know them, and they were just strangers. I'm walking the train. People said good morning and how are you? And I was a little surprised about that. Coming from New York, nobody talks to you in the street. But that was very nice, and kind of affirmed that why Chicago is one of my favorite cities. That's I'm not playing up to Rashonda, but that I would tell you that no matter what, I've always
I'll take it in. I'll take it all in. I'll take it.
Yeah, but overall, I've always enjoyed going to Chicago, and I look forward to going back.
Oh, good. No, I mean, I appreciate the feedback. And actually, you know, Tony, I would say that right here is the perfect time to rehash any concerns you have, because I love the glowingness, but I do want to get to the nitty and gritty and how do we get better. And I would say my experience this week, having been on the board, um, was not necessarily the same as everybody else's. And what I'm able to experience. So I'm happy to hear from everybody. I did spend a lot of the week just talking to members, some media related, some non-media related, many of which that had concerns about the way things that had been about the transparency, about the optics of things. And so that was a lot of, I spent a lot of the week doing that. But on the flip side of it, I did get to see a lot of people and all the great stuff that we all enjoy so much about NABJ, learning new things. I was able to step into a few sessions. I learned some even in the AI sessions that I spoke on. The freelance session that we did, Pivot and Freelance, was standing room only. I was about 10 minutes late to that session because I was still at a business meeting that ended up running like 3 hours. And of course, apparently I left, and then Terry represented us very well at the business meeting from everything that I heard from everyone. And so, it was just a reminder about, and I think a lot of people got to see the constant reminder about what media related members are capable of bringing to the organization. I got to spend some time with Gael, who's got a lot of passion, and I invited her to today's meeting and gave her the information to join us because I do want to pull her in and get her engaged. But yeah, it was just, I thought overall it was a good week. I think there's a lot of lessons learned for us, and a lot of room to go, things that we can get started on. But I also had members come up to me and talk about the Media Institute, which, you always say, oh, that's an old news cycle. But people came back and they were talking about the Media Institute, partly because we had the second most profitable Media Institute, thanks heavily in part to Terry, who really made that happen for us. And so,
You all, but guess what, Rashonda? I looked at the numbers. I was the most profitable. We didn't get first most profitable because we spent a little bit more money than they did, but we brought in more money.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, they don't really bring in their board people who attend are all local, right? So there's a few things that they don't have to spend money on that we did, right? If we did it in Chicago, anyway, needless to say, I thought we did an excellent job. We raised a ton of money. And I will tell you that Ken is already making the rounds, pushing for everybody to try to hit at least 15K for Media Institutes for 2025. And that is set in part to the success of Media Related and Arts and Entertainment, who were both able to hit close to 15K. I think we were around 13 in money raised. And so that is, that's phenomenal. I think it's something that we certainly accomplish as a task force and Media Related Media Institute. I think that's something we can definitely do. So yeah, I'm just excited about the road to 50. And, I'm excited about hitting it, hitting national office and, the rest of the board up in every other area where we can contribute to make more room for us at the table.
That's great. I close this part of the thing with my little 2 cents. Lashonda, just stand up and take a bow. Chicago's everything you said it was.
I wanted you guys to love my city, and I know there were some bumps and bruises there, but I knew that our city could step up.
Yeah, that Lollapalooza took those Uber rates through the roof.
Yeah. I said I knew it was gonna be rough. It was gonna be rough.
$75 to come from the airport the first day.
Yeah, amen to that.
You said how much was it?
$75 just to get to there from the airport.
I was gonna say that's high, but
it was 44. It was just
okay. Because I was gonna say usually going downtown, it's anywhere from 45 to 60, depending on partially from where you book, right? Sometimes if you can book it before you get over there to the pickup area, like you want to book it
right
almost before you pick your luggage up, or pre-book it like a good hour, like if you could sit in the hotel, I've done this too, because especially when I'm coming home late at night, nobody wants to take a Uber to the south suburbs. So I would rather sit in the airport, 45 minutes to an hour, and know I should have got my luggage, because we are so, now that's one thing we're terrible about, is the amount of time it takes you to get your luggage
Yeah.
at our airport. It takes an insane amount of time. But yeah, anyway, I won't belabor that. But yeah, we knew Uber was going to be rough. It was going to be rough.
It was high.
I can't recall it, but the name of the chicken place, it was
Which one, Harold's or Uncle Remus?
Harold's.
Yes.
I love the chicken. The second visit was all it was supposed to be. The first visit I took the chicken back, but the second visit, ooh, okay, this feels like Texas. But
Yeah.
the flavor came the second time. I think that the reunion ingredient of the conference never fails us. And the fact that we reconnect and confirm each other, and that we get to the point where there are things out there that are going there. I appreciate the input that Amazon gave us in that particular panel. It was a little over. It was packed. She had a big room. I said, "Boy, this room's going to be small," but oh no, we filled it, and I got a chance for people to see the other media related members, and I said, "Yeah, I think Tony was there." I said, "You guys, all media related members, stand up," and then I said to them, I said, based on this, what's in this room and what we talked about, all of y'all should be standing up. And they went to that QR code that Amazon provided and transferred the data over. So I sent out a contact sheet so that we can do that. The media meeting from the Media Institute brought about, it was just perfect timing, I think, Rashonda, because they talked about being inclusive, and they could have been used for the presidential candidate election feedback and outcomes. And all of a sudden, the meeting took over that conversation. And I got up and I stated what I stated is that you don't have to look outside of your organization. We got over 745 hungry members who are willing to do this. And I said, we're ready. We're just let's see what we can do. And let's put this team together. And then all those people that emailed me and texted and came from the survey said they want to be engaged. I said, well, here's your chance. You get a chance to help them build a response. Rashonda is on the board, and the board is going to be busy in the amplification of NABJ because of what happened is intense. So the more we can help the board members, our board rep, our president, our staff, let's see what y'all got. And so I sent that survey out there to do that. And I think that everybody loved the Media Institute. They're crazy about it. And they got offers from Hampton and in DC. And also back where we started the first one, the one we had to cancel due to COVID, was the one in LA under Ron's team. And we were working with SAG-AFTRA, who was going to give us some amazing free space from there. And the Hampton University is where we did the 1619 project with the chapter, the organization, the council of chapters, chapter council. And they said, oh, Hampton would love to. So I think the Media Institute that we did in Dallas have elevated the fact that if somebody wants to host us, and the feedback has been good. But the conference itself, I appreciate that in the northern part of the country, we have a city as clean as some of the southern cities. It was just neat. And that hotel was interesting with the elevator system. Although it was cumbersome, it was interesting how it was designed back in the 20s to fit whatever it was. And the elevator weight was crazy because I think a good part with Shonda and Pam and Tony and Ron is that a lot of Palooza people were saying, oh, y'all like NABJ. They were reading people's badges and they got on the elevator. So the amplification of our brain was there because they said, oh, y'all like NABJ. We heard about y'all. I've never heard that before, so it's pretty good. So
well, they like the fact they said, wow, you guys are journalists. Wow, we dig you guys. Thanks for what you do. Yeah. I mean, people were really nice. And like I said, I've been in Chicago a number of times before, and I experience it every single time when I go there. People are very friendly. And especially if you're coming from out of town, they're very helpful and they make you feel comfortable. There were a couple of times like after the Salute to Excellence, I know myself, Tommy, and his date, we went into the that restaurant there in the hotel, the Irish place.
Uh-huh.
They wanted to get something to eat because they got to the reception, they got to the gala late. And so we went in there and we were like all dressed up. I can't tell you how many people said, "We look good, welcome, come on in, we'll give you a table." I mean, I've never experienced that anywhere before. So yeah, definitely kudos to Chicago.
Yeah, and
Giving lots of comments about how well dressed. You guys are the best dressed. I mean, everybody is
Oh,
dressed
y'all
to the nines.
between
I think that's because a lot of Palooza crowd was very relaxed. So we come in.
Yeah, they were
Yep.
naked. Let's just say it. They were naked. They were just running around naked.
and Ron and Tony had on white tuxes. I saw those pictures. I was like, oh my goodness.
Oh, and
Yeah.
Ron out there hanging out with his new girlfriend, Yamiche. I saw that.
Mhm.
I do want to take 1 second to just send a special accolade. I don't know if you guys have seen yet the story on Black News and Views. Just when we thought NABJ was over, I was headed home and in an Uber headed home, an overpriced Uber headed home. And I got a call from Jade, who
Uh-huh.
was on a plane headed to DC, and the plane had to be redirected because a NABJ member on the plane had a medical emergency.
Mm,
Oh no.
So
mm.
they had to redirect the plane to Cleveland. This young lady is an anchor or something or a reporter, and she has heart disease she has heart disease. And so fairly young, 35, I think.
My God.
So Jade called me from the plane and said, "Hey, this happened. She's on this plane. We're in Cleveland. They're taking her to this hospital. Is there anything we can do?" I said, "Yes, let me call, my Cleveland president, who's probably en route, but at least she can try to, let's get somebody connected so the poor girl ain't there by herself." I
Right.
reached out to See a New Yorker, and See a New Yorker put out the request for anybody who had already made it back home
Uh-huh.
to go and see about this young lady who was across the country by herself with her. She has a dog, like a dog, like what do you call it?
A comfort dog, like a
Yeah, I'm a comfort dog or whatever. She had a dog. So by very shortly, someone from this Cleveland chapter who had already made it home
uh-huh.
rushed to the hospital, walked into her room. Her name is oh Lord, her name is it just went out my head. Oh my goodness gracious. She's I've been talking to the girl today and her name just went out my head because I've been talking to her. Therese Gaynor.
Uh-huh.
And she walked into her room and she was like, "Who are you?" She's like, "I'm Rachel from the Cleveland chapter. We heard what happened. We just wanted to come be with you." And they stayed with her until while she was getting tests. Another one of the members showed up and took care of her dog.
Mhm.
Helped her get her a hotel once they finally got her out, and we got her back to DC, I think the next day or the day after that, and we've been staying in touch with her. But earlier today, I think Black News and Views ran a story on it, and it just reaffirms the fact that we all were like, "Hey," nobody was like, "Are you a journalist or a PR member? How did you feel?" It was just, "Hey, we got a member who needs help," and everyone jumped in. And
Exactly.
it's what NABJ is. We're family.
That's right.
I feel like that would have went that exact same way had she been in any other state.
Right. Wow. I'm so glad to hear that. That is
Yeah,
I'm
pretty
glad to
scary.
hear that she got the help, but I'm sad to
Mhm.
hear that happened. But nevertheless, that was great thinking on Jade. Not surprising from Jade though. That is that
Yeah,
was good
That
thinking.
also happened in Birmingham when the lady, a taxi driver ran over the parking curb, and one lady ran and she fell, and all of these NABJ members, we all rushed over there on the outside of the entrance, and
Right.
nobody left until which is okay. And then she refused to go to the doctor. I said, I think you really need to go.
Right.
That we exchanged business cards, and now those people are still part of the emo thread.
I
So
love that.
that's what
Nice.
NABJ does, and so it's really
Yeah.
good to know that. I think also we we have to celebrate the fact that we were able to physically represent NABJ, and those people from Lollapalooza had heard about the feedback from the presidential candidate being there, and they kept saying, "Oh, you guys are NABJ." They were asking other people questions. They were having conversations. And one very older gentleman got on the elevator number 7, and some young people, young members, next generation members got in. They had their badges on. He said, "I'll tell you what I think." And he started telling them how proud he was of us. And I said, then the last thing he said, "Well, y'all should have run him out of there." But he was just, I'm sure he was 98. That's more black than he ever seen in his life. And so I think the overall thing was good. Thank you for sharing that story, Rashonda. I'm trying to find the news and views thing right now. So
Yeah, I'll get the clip and drop it in.
yeah, I just want to say this is a Zoom call. I only see one face. Okay, I'm just telling you.
I had my picture connected to this thing, but I don't know what happened.
Sure you did.
I did. You said something about the picture. I don't know what happened to. I don't know. I had to figure it out.
Hey, Rashonda, that story about the member helping the other member, with the medical emergency. First of all, that is Jade, because Jade and I we went to the congressional baseball game together, and that's when these climate people ran on the field. You should have seen all the officers from the Capitol Police with the long guns pointing at these protesters on the field. And Jade's up there like snapping pictures, and it was all on her social media like within 5 minutes. But that, yeah, she's definitely someone who is very, very outgoing, and she'll help anybody. But
Yeah, jump right into action. I love it. I
Yeah.
laughed because the only thing I was like, "Hey, Greg, your story is great, but you made Jade a journalist, and she is one of ours."
yeah, exactly.
like,
Yeah.
She's one of ours.
Yeah, she's
a member of the media related task force and a media PR professional.
That's right.
No,
She is.
I was just teasing Greg a little bit, but I'm like, hey, we
but we need to get
stand up for ours. That's one of ours.
Yeah, and I was telling them too. Where was I at about that AI stuff? I know that I said, okay, that says media related started it. We started it, So we do a lot of things, and I think eventually, in the not too distant future, they're gonna just say, you know what? Why are we segregating membership like this? Makes no sense.
No. Well, just thinking about that story, that takes HIPAA to a whole new level. Because when that young lady walk out and people walking in, who are you? It's like how do you even do that? Because I could add a family member in the hospital. They won't let me in.
That's right. Tony, you are absolutely. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, that takes HIPAA to a whole different level.
I will tell you that Jade was in communication with her. So Jade got her number before she got off the plane.
Okay.
And she was texting with her. And then she told her that she was giving me the number. And then I told Jade, look, I'm reaching out to Cleveland people. So, I told Jade, who was also texting with her. So she knew all along that we were trying to coordinate this, get someone over to her. But it's still, she was like, who are you? But she said nothing, to your point, Tony, it's still very sensitive. Even like when Black News and Views wanted to do this story, I was like, no, you have to talk to race first. If she says it's fine, then it's fine, but he interviewed her and, and everything. And she was totally glad, because while she wanted to share this story herself on social, she was like, I don't want to talk about what happened to me. I want to just thank the people who showed up. And I just, she was like, I don't know if I would have been able, how she would have went. She was, she was genuinely frightened, because she just found out that she's got heart disease like 2 weeks, literally like 2 weeks before the conference.
Wow.
And her doctor was like, you can still told her she could go.
That's amazing because that's
Yeah.
what, you know, when we were on COVID, I had Don Roberts come in and talk about her heart issue because she didn't even know. She's a runner.
Yep.
And she didn't even know that whole thing and not knowing it. And then she went into a run, at our conference, the run that we were going to do. And she discovered that she had a heart condition. It was this far away from a major heart attack, cardiac.
Crazy. Wow. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm glad that we now have, I was able to sit in on the mental health and wellness, me, and it was just great to know that they were doing that. And I sat down with Dr. The chair that's
Courtney. Is it Dr. Courtney?
Yeah.
Yes, Courtney, Ken's wife.
Yeah, I said the thing that we addressed the most during our happy hour, where we had people come in and talk about mental health. And I think that we probably need to address that because that's leading to everything else. And mental health is crazy. And I told her, I shared my extrovert story. I'm an extrovert, and the pandemic made me a recovering extrovert. And so we talked about those things that we share. And I showed her the feedback and the surveys that came from Black men in PR when we had that in Birmingham. It's supposed to be an hour and 10 minutes. It ended up being 2 hours and 20 minutes of all the frustration that men in journalism had. And so they had one too. And then the women in communications with Nikki Mayo, it was all that. So I think we have some great opportunities for collaboration in terms of that. The other thing was that Rashonda, I have a question for you. I was wondering if you could talk with Drew and take it to the board. You remember when we did our monthly report, you said don't talk about the jobs and things of that nature that Tony was posting. So we went over there, Tony and I went over and looked at the place. They had one job, marketing. I guess they don't really see that, but we have all these people that are communication strategists. I talked to the lady at Amazon, and they have 14 jobs available. I sent that in the base camp. I was wondering if we could, what do we do to have to get those companies to pay to be on our job posts so we can have more variety on there? Because I think, Tony, you went and looked, you found one job, right?
Yeah, I think it was like 2 or 3, wasn't it? Well, at one point it was like 3, but yeah, I agree, Terry.
Yeah, so if you can find out how to do it, because Tony posted 200 jobs last month. And so
Yeah, I saw that huge list that he had I saw the list, this one wasn't as huge as some of the ones in the past, but I saw the list that he did right after NABJ, which was really, I get it, that it's really strong. I'm just being the messenger. And then now,
that raised the bar, because if we find out how we get people to pay, that's just like you got those commissions from your customers. I got the commission.
Yeah, we should find out though. Could we get a commission?
Yeah,
for bringing
got 211. That's 211 commissions. That makes our next media institute have more stuff.
Yeah. Let me bring that up, because you need the process in place before you bring them, because then we won't get credit for anything we bring that we didn't already brought in. Right. So let's see if we want to bring a smaller fish in. Right. And before we bring in Amazon
I already asked them, so I just didn't know the process.
They said they would pay. They would be willing to pay.
Right. They're ready. I didn't know what to tell them. That's why I'm asking if you could help us.
Yeah, the process is the process. I don't think that's going to be hard to give you. It's that if we want to make sure that there is something in place where we get a percentage, that I don't think is in place nothing is in place for that sort of referral or commission off of bringing jobs in. I don't think that the fundraising stuff speaks to that kind of thing. It really only speaks to programming that is sponsored.
Okay, I didn't know. I thought it would be good to bring up. It was okay, right?
It's excellent. Yeah, it's excellent. And I will look up in short order, what it costs to do a job posting. I know that the national office takes 2 weeks off, so they've got 1 more week before they are in full swing back in the office.
That'd be great. Another thing going on is I put that survey out there. y'all were talking about how we make our connections at the conference and we run out to. I think I was so happy that we had so many winners in at the Salute to Excellence. One on Karen, Ron. I think I ran into Ron. I wouldn't let go of it. I mean, so happy to see that.
Was Karen physically there?
Yes, she was.
Oh man, I missed her. I didn't see her this
That
year.
being said, I talked to, you know, how y'all talk about the connections. What's funny is that everywhere I go, I was around someone that was connected to something. And so on the way to the airport, I went out to get my car, and it was Siobhan Riley and Vinton Blanton were there. We all rode together. So we started talking about data collections. And I said, well, I just happened to have the task force bylaws here because we were going to talk about it until, you know, the hotel ruined the reception in the meeting. They forgot we were supposed to be there, I guess. But the thing I heard is they gave me a survey that they did. So I sent the survey over for approval and we got one. So the survey here says your name, your number, your membership number, what outlet are you in, corporate, public affairs, nonprofit, agency, or entrepreneur, where you at, what's your job title, what description do you most accurately reflect what you do in your work, would you like to be considered for a volunteer role with a media-related task force? And that comes from in the meeting where they said, we're just not connected. Well, yeah, I said, you're in the best hands. When I said in the meeting, I said, well, Rashonda is part of Beepers. She's part of the business work experience. She has social pearls. You're the best way for us to get reconnected because we haven't had that power on the board here recently until Rashonda came. Then it says, would you like to be considered for roles, panels, and moderating opportunities? And then it says, what type of programming would you like to see? And then the other one says, in light of the recent events surrounding the presidential candidate's appearance, it is clear that the organization's brand has been heightened. As leadership members skilled in reputation management, corporate branding, and credibility, what do you have? What is your expertise and what would you share as a recommendation which you be willing to advise the members of the board as requested? And so that went out. So we already got 22 people who responded already. It just went out at 5. And they put in the other parts there that they require in the office, which is this is only we ask you to update your contact information. Feel free to share this form with other NABJ members who should be on our roster and receive our task force specific updates. And that this media information will only be shared with the NABJ and the NABJ staff. That was a disclaimer. I'm glad you mentioned it, because I want to make sure I saw it in there. But this allows just what they were saying, the media related members talking about we're not heard and we're not there. This allows us to build that momentum up. Although we had a very successful media institute in Dallas, this allows us to have a larger impact and crowd. And they did some of them put LA back on the table that Ron had brokered with SAG after back in the day. Hampton University, we've already had the relationship there through Karen. And of course, April's out there in the Midwest, the Mid-Atlantic, which would be Morgan State, which we had one media institute there. We had one at headquarters and one at Morgan State a long time ago. And so it was great to hear that. And so the survey information has started to come back. I haven't really looked at all of it at all, but some of the people says I want to contribute. And I didn't do this. And Rashonda, let me get your feedback. I didn't ask, do you have sponsorship opportunities? You know, I wanted to, but nah, we go back and ask them later if they could sponsor anything. But what I did do with Fleischman Hilliard and Amazon is says, well, you guys have a larger relationship with NABJ. Could you do the inclusion? And of course, that's where Francesca came up. I'm talking about it, but this came from her. I serve whatever people give me. I represent what they say. And Francesca did it 2 years ago when she said, well, Fleischman Hilliard's going to do all this stuff. So yeah, we'll pay for this reception. And so I said, well, let's do an inclusion rider. And I suggested that to Amazon. You guys do it a lot with NABJ. So can you require that some of it falls into this thing? They really enjoy being part of that Meet the Press to PR panel. So I asked them about the inclusion rider. Rashonda, you're out there working, would it be possible to understand if that's a viable thing we can do as some of our partners? All these people with these surveys, they actually work for companies that contribute to NABJ either now or in the future, that we create some type of campaign where we can talk to our members about, make sure if you're going to be a major partner in the inclusion process.
Yeah, I think that it has to be, I think it's definitely something that can be done.
Mm-hmm.
But I think one of the things that we'll have to keep in mind is making sure that we make it easy for them to do it and that companies understand that the supporting the task force piece may sometimes be in addition to, outside of. You guys help me with the wording. So let's just say, for example, if a company says, I want to host a reception and I want to do a reception and I want to do a workshop. The workshop is $25,000. They cannot sponsor $25,000 for the workshop and say, earmark $5,000 of this $25,000 for media related. The workshop is $25,000. If they want to earmark $5,000 for media related, then they would have to sponsor $30,000 and say $25,000 is for 25,000 is for a workshop and 5,000 is for media related. So we have to come to them with above the custom packages that aren't necessarily what is reflected in the prospectus direct. Does that make sense?
Let me ask you this, Rashonda, but for that 25,000 sponsorship, is that with food?
For a $25,000 workshop, that is a workshop, a meal event, at least in the past year, this last year that just passed, meal events were $35,000.
Okay.
Workshops are, let me say this, workshops are flagged at $25,000. Now you could get Drew and whoever to say, hey, can you do this for, Drew has the ability to override it and say, hey, yeah, we can, for 25,000, we'll let you do your workshop for, 20,000 and then make 5,000 go to NABJ. But that is something that we can't
Sell.
can't guarantee.
Yeah, we can't guarantee it, but we can put it in the conversation. I think when I got with April, we got on that conversation with Google News Lab. They gave $100,000. We were able to get 4,400 for media related side at that time. So I just glad you brought that up, that we have to meet their standard and see if we can do that. And I like Francesca's thing about inclusion. So I told my team that we got to include the media related team, and that's what she covered.
Hi, Rashonda, could you, why was there so many empty tables at the Salute to Excellence Awards? There were a lot of sponsorship tables that, they were empty.
That's how it was last year.
I mean, this is historically a major issue. Let me bring something up. I mean, Terry probably even knows this.
Yeah.
Right? The board is asked to, we have to buy our own tickets to these events. And so there are always board members who are like, why am we buying tickets? And y'all got all these empty tables with sponsors who don't show up. I think there's got to be more collaboration between like students or whatever. I don't know. There's got to be more discussion between sponsorships and the people who are doing the individual events. Now, I will say it's not that they don't try, because I managed Chase stuff, and Chase had tickets for every single event, and sponsorship kept coming back and saying, hey, are you sure you're going to use this table? Do you still need this table? Do you still need this? Like they keep coming back. And if the sponsors fully intend to pass along their tickets to their members and then they never do, or they pass them along to their members and their members don't show up, it's very little that you can do about that. But like during the thing, we were texting to the board members, we were texting to Faye and Veronique and saying, hey, can we go grab some students who haven't eaten and bring them in? Can I text members and let them know that I have extra tickets, for people who've come to me and asked me for a ticket to them? Can I tell them that they could come in and sit at the CBS table or these empty tables? And it's just got to be, I don't know, there's got to be a way, because it's just sickening to see all of that food we're paying for and nobody is eating it.
Right.
And one of
Right.
the things that we did,
Not a good look. It makes the thing look like it's not organized. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
'Cause
it's not that.
it-
People know that sponsors, but they could even tell people, hey, if you're interested in coming, let's say the event is supposed to start at 6.
Uh-huh.
We're going to be letting people in at 6:20, 6:30.
Uh-huh.
To fill tables, right? And you tell your sponsors, hey, look, you've got 45 minutes, and then we're going to fill your table and give your meal away. That way somebody can come in and eat it.
Right. Right.
and
Was the food good?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, the food was very
it was
good.
very good.
she said, was the food good?
Oh,
No,
I
Yeah.
mean, it was good. I mean, I thought the restaurants there were overall very good, but I didn't even eat dinner that day. I was too tired.
I just want to add something to that, Rashonda, that we did in San Diego, and we also did it in Indianapolis. Not to mention something crazy, but we had seat fillers. We sent the sponsorship a list of who did you assign to your table, and then we had seat fillers assigned, and they were students and scholarship recipients. They were just special people that need to be part of it. And they moved the tables down because I don't think it looks unorganized, but it looks like nobody paid for it. It looks like it's unsponsored when there's a bunch of empty tables, although those tables exist because somebody sponsored them. Us, we wouldn't have built, they wouldn't have been placed there. But I was wondering,
Well,
maybe,
the tickets are the
maybe
tables have sponsor signs on them, Terry. So it doesn't, it's got
Yeah,
like
the
this
empty
is the table
tables
from
weren't empty.
Chase.
The unsponsored tables were all full.
my comment was, at the gospel brunch, at the couple of the events, there were tables that was just completely empty. They had the sponsor's name on it, but there was nobody there, like Rashonda said.
Right, yeah,
So-
we had, yeah, and Ron was with me in the table. There was a table right near where we were with
Right in front of us.
and it was, yeah, right in front of us, and it was empty.
Right.
I'm kind of wondering if maybe the sponsors can be kind of encouraged to maybe sponsor a student or two to, where NABJ can give them names of students that they can sponsor and say, hey, you know what, we're not going to be using the table. Because a lot of those sponsors wind up leaving Friday because
Right.
they're vendors, so they're not there Saturday. And they know that they're not going to be there.
Well,
So, you can go with students who are attending and they're going to stay till Sunday and say,
Right.
you know what, why don't you guys, take, you need a seat at the table. Why don't you come on and enjoy the gala on us because we're not going to be there.
Right.
yeah, and to continue what I was saying there were two vendors. I mean, I think I shared to Rashonda. I went through the career fair and asked them, who do you have handling reputation management, brand credibility, who's doing branding? And nobody had anybody. I said, I didn't think they would. I just want you guys to be conscious when y'all come back to the career fair. I think about the media related people. But I went to 7 vendors to say that to, and they you're right. And I said, so 2 of them said to me, we closed down on Friday. We're leaving Friday. Do you know anybody who wants these tickets? So what I was trying to say is that if we had a seat filler insertion, that if you choose not to use because of your sponsorship, because of your reservation of the career booth, here's your tickets. Let us know if you're not coming. We'd love to fill those seats with our next generation or our up and coming, our scholarship recipients, because 3 vendors asked me what could they do with their tickets, because we're not staying. I'm going home tomorrow.
Wow.
And so I think if we could do an insertion, just like they had a bunch of paperwork. One guy pulled out the paperwork, he showed his tickets and showed all the stuff he got as a career vendor. And so I was thinking if we gave them that seat filler option, that if you choose not to come, we'd love to have you give your tickets to a next generation or a scholarship recipient or a community member. What do you think of that, Shonda?
I mean, I think that's an excellent idea. One of the things that it's sort of a combination of what you said already, and some of it is already happening with sponsorship. Because like I said, I know all the way up until the end, I was getting emails to confirm that we were using at our seats. We were using our tickets for each one of the events. But it may be that the person who is getting that information is different from the person who's actually on the floor,
Yeah.
right? Like the person who, the person who's getting those emails is someone in HR or event back at community affairs, back at the, station.
Somebody in corporate.
The person who's actually working the booth and has no plans to go to anything, but is sitting there with tickets. So I really like that. I will bring that up to, I like, something that is, I like supporting students, but I like supporting our members on all levels. So maybe there's an
Right.
ability to kind of split it up and kind of say, hey, look, we've got a ticket bank here of sponsors who have donated tickets.
Right.
And it's gonna be first come, first serve it, or not even that. We can figure it out. Like it could go to the task force chairs who could talk to them. It could go to the, to board members. They could go to somewhere.
Right.
So people that can get to these, so people know where they can go at a central location to find out whether tickets are available or get their name put on a list, and then we can lottery them out or whatever. We can figure out a process, but there is some way to make sure. I
Yeah.
like all of these ideas. I think there's
Who's
some way to make
coordinating?
sure that they don't get.
Who's coordinating the seating charts? Because whoever's coordinating the seating charts should know whether a sponsor is coming or not.
But
Because
this is what I'm saying is that they are telling them.
Right.
uh-huh.
They're telling them that they're coming. They're not saying they're not coming.
Okay.
Because they get asked, sponsors get asked multiple times throughout the process
Mhm.
whether they want to keep their Hall of Fame tickets, their Salute to Excellence tickets, their Gospel Brunch tickets or tables. You get asked that question multiple times. Because like I said, with Chase, I got asked that question multiple emails. But the person, I think what happens is that the person who gets that may be different than the person on the ground. Yes, we're using them. We've already given them out to our people. And then their people have no intention on coming. So
Okay.
we got to figure out a better way.
Yeah, I got that seat filler run as part of that, because when we were working with SAG after they have an organization, they have a little column. I'll go put it in there to help you figure it out. We're trying to add to the enhancement, because I went to the SAG after SAG when we were building the media studio in LA, and I saw a whole section on seat filler. And I like it. I love it. They do that. They make sure those seats are full in case somebody leaves. They go put a seat filler in there. So we can go to the hardship recipients, because the hardship doesn't pay for the add-ons. It could go to a lot of people, but you're right. It's hard to figure out who's coming and who's not coming, because they gave the tickets to the vendor people, and the vendor people said, "I'm going home. I'm not staying." So there's no way that we don't know. That's that factor there. But if they have a little sheet in their little baggage saying, would you like to donate your ticket to a recipient, maybe we'll get more in there and fill those seats up. That'd be good.
Yep, I think that's a great idea. Just have someplace where they can go, and where they get asked that on site and they can drop them off, or even a signage that says, hey, sponsors, you have, did you get tickets to this and don't need them? I really like that idea. Yeah, I like that idea.
That signage you said is good, because it could say, if you're leaving the career fair and not staying for any of the ancillary banquets, drop your ticket in here so we can give it to someone else. And that may be good to drop it off, because of course, Ron knows this. I got a lot of stuff dropped off that I sent to the shelter from the cure people. When they call, you want these? I said, yeah, put them in this box. I already had my FedEx boxes ready, and I sent them. This time I didn't take them back on the airplane. They went directly to the shelters that I work with, the little extra stuff. Anyway, I just something to consider. We're at an hour now, and I've got people here. Y'all know, some of y'all saw the pictures. I had a flood, so there's people here, and they're gonna have to disconnect the power in order to finish what they're doing here. So, if anybody got any closing remarks, and we'll continue. And Rashonda, when they get that survey, I'm gonna send it to you. We got 23 so far.
Yeah, so I will cut this one, because we're gonna have this is the task force meeting, but we're gonna have a general all media related meeting in September. That'll go out to all media related members to join. And then we want to pull more people in to join the task force directly, and also want to officially have our first, Media Institute meeting.
And
Yeah.
awards, yeah, we think about putting those there too. So,
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think that we'll need a subcommittee for that too, so that we don't stretch anybody too thin. We've got a lot of blood. We want to capitalize on those folks who are eager to get started. But yeah, NABJ is asking we kind of start all those meetings in September, because August was the convention. So people should have a chance to get back. And then September, we start all of our task force meetings. And you mentioned Justice. Justice had a mental health session that did not get approved, and she had offered to convene those folks for a webinar. So we'd love to circle back with her about,
right.
tapping in to do that.
And so, and then we have some more stuff we could add that was improved, and I really liked what was there. Anyway, guys, I just want to close this call with prayer, and I'll send the information to you right away, or something. I'll text you a little bit later as well.
Do we know where the next Media Institute is going to be? We have any ideas?
No, we just talked about the suggested
Okay.
places. Also, Rashonda, did you have a suggested place as well?
No, I think you said the same places that I mentioned that I had already had conversations with. Not Hampton, but you mentioned Hampton, that they are high up there. The DC office, which I've already had the conversations with. Morgan State, we'll start early conversations with them just to look at it. Dillard had offered some space, and then we have some in North Carolina.
Okay.
That is interested. I mentioned it too.
That's exciting.
Yep. So yeah, and then LA is certainly something that we should talk about. I know that's one that you guys had on the books. So yeah, we should talk about them. I'm totally open to having all those discussions, but hopefully we want to pick somebody by October 1st, have a contract done by November 1st, and then and have a contract done by November 1st, and then everything else is just, working the plan, which we all know very well now.
Yeah, that's great. Great. I'm going to close with prayer if it's okay with you guys. Thank you, Rashonda, for all this information. And you guys, please continue to use the base camp so we can have exchanges that happen at all times to give us the time management of being able to respond on our own time. So anyway, Heavenly Father, as we depart from this time of fellowship and diving into the whys and whats and the dedication we have for NABJ, we want to show our gratitude for your grace and your praise and your peace. Thank you for the opportunity to gather with this people who are considered not just members of NABJ, but my family. I consider them part of my why. We bless their work today. May we labor and be diligent and excellent in recognizing what we have to do to create the servitude and the stewardship that we do every day for NABJ. Help us to be people of integrity, inclusion, and character. Guard our hearts and minds from anything that would tempt us from not doing the right thing. Help us keep our focus on gift and the assignment you've given us for this organization. And as we go about our day, may your presence go before us and your peace come with us. Keep in mind that we are a powerful group of people on this call and part of that task force. And in your name, we pray for more and continued success. Amen, y'all. Are you there? Are you guys save the chat if you want to? Tony, you're gonna save it for the recap. And you guys be safe. I'll talk with you soon.
All right. Take care, everyone.
Yeah, take care, everybody.
Bye. Take care.
God bless everyone.